Good evening, everyone. So, when Olivia asked me to replace our speaker of the night, I was just start reading this book. And this is not me telling you or asking you. This is a product of research of two psychiatrists from Germany. And they wrote a book called The Healing Power of Illness. And what they found out is that if we pay attention to the message that the illness is giving to us, if you really understand the core of it, then we can cure ourselves just by making peace with the feeling, with the perception that creates the whole sickness, the whole illness itself. The book is this one, The Healing Power of Illness, understanding what symptoms are telling, what your symptoms are telling you. And what they say is that illness is a symbol of a deeper problem. Illness is a physical manifestation of our unresolved problems or unhealthy lifestyle. So, illness is not something that happens to you because you caught a flu from somebody else, or because you developed this kind of sickness at the hospital or something like that. It's not something that you gain from somebody else. It's something that you develop from inside yourself because you don't understand or you don't take care of your thoughts. You don't put that through a kind of net and understand that if you're having a lot of thoughts, negative thoughts, you're attracting negative energy. And this will create some kind of substance inside of your body that will lead you to get sick. So, the patient is not always the innocent victim of some quirk of nature or random event, but actually may have triggered his or her own sickness, disability, or health problem. We normally try to blame external reasons for our sickness, for our illness. We don't assume too much that we can be responsible for what happens to us. But this is the first step. It's accepting that most of the time we allow that to come. We allow that kind of feelings, that kind of energy to come. So it's kind of hard to realize that, but for real, and especially because we are in a spiritist center, and people say, oh, we're going to talk about that, karma is something that came with you when you incarnate, is part of your test, whatever you choose. Not really. Sometimes that can be, but most of the time it's us not understanding what happened to us in our daily lives, don't understanding in a positive way, and generating feelings of anxiety, of anger, of rage. And these feelings will generate inside of our bodies a lot of neuroreceptors, a lot of chemicals that will be accumulating as long as we keep those kind of feelings inside of us, up to a point that we're going to get an overdose. This overdose will poison an organ of us. And that's the sickness, that's the illness starting. So then you take some medicine, right? To make you better. But this medicine will cover the symptom, not the root. Will not cover what makes that happen, which is what you put in your mind and you don't give up. And that's the thing. That's the analysis. That's the whole thing about your illness can cure you if you understand what caused the illness. What generates it? And make peace with that. Just as every disease pattern expresses a certain content, every organ and every region of the body has a particular significance. So, of course, a disease is related to the organ that is sick. Because the significance is going straight to that part. What are you not treating? What is depression? It's not for the Spiritist view, it's not accepting the life the way it is. The life should be the way I think it should be. So what is wrong in this scenario? You're talking about expectations against perspective. Expectations is something that you build without no support, no data to support, no real things. If you filter your expectation through a perspective, then you have a better understanding, a better reading of life. But sometimes we are too busy to do that, and sometimes we really don't want to do that. We want to keep going with our expectations, and then all of a sudden you get sick because you don't understand why life is so hard on you. Why that is not happening. I'm trying so badly. Maybe you're doing it the wrong way. But because you don't pay attention to it, you always see how unfortunately we are, instead of seeing we're not doing the right way. Think about it. We're just going to have light on this room because a guy named Thomas Edison tried 1,200 times. 1,200 fails. The 1,201, he figured it out. By the 700, his assistant said, "Why do you keep trying? You haven't 700 fails so far." He said, "No, I had 700 ways that I'm not going to do it again." How we do that? Do we do that to our sickness? Because sickness is nothing. Illness is not nothing but a tryout, a test. Okay, I did this, and that. I get better, and it came back. I'm not going to do that again, am I? But most of us, or some of us, keep doing the same way. That is no way to plant pineapples and harvest bananas. Not in this world. So, to have a better cake, you have to change the recipe. Otherwise, if you keep doing the same way, you're going to have the same product, the same outcome. It doesn't matter if you're going to try 700 times or 1,200 times. If you're not going to do that again the same way, you are trying again, you will have a new tryout. And all of a sudden, boom, there's light. Right? There's light. Because somebody was persistent enough to keep on trying, to keep on doing differently, to keep on understanding what was wrong, to keep understanding what the fail was telling him. And in our lives, fail means sickness or illness. We can build up a field of contagious good health and take control in finding our own life mission and a path of development. Many lessons can be learned and doors open if we only care to look deep within. It's the hardest thing that we do because we don't have too much time, because we don't have too much guts, because we don't have too much whatever we can tell ourselves. We have to take time to look inside. We have to take time to look at the mirror and tell us sometimes what we don't want to hear. I've been doing fraternal counseling in this center for 11 years. And yesterday, not for the first time, but it's rare, I could get with the guy that I was talking to the very deepest limit. He recognized that he was not seeing himself in a good way. He was ashamed of himself with no reason, with just a perception from the past of some wrongdoing that he did in the past. But we merged deep inside of him, and feelings were emerging, and emotions were emerging. This is not easy. This is not something that we do all the time. It's not fun. And our brain is drive for pleasure, not for pain. So if I'm sick or if I'm ill, I'm in pain, right? Some way or another, I'm in pain. Am I going to inflict more pain to myself? What if I tell you that if you go a little deeper, maybe you can heal for good what's causing the pain? Instead of taking antidepressant or muscle aching or something like that. Medicine just cover the outcome, not the root. Illness belongs to the tests and vicissitudes of earthly life. The Gospel according to Spiritism, chapter 28, says the same. I love that this is really small. So let me try to expand here. There you go. Passions and excesses of all kinds create unhealthy conditions in our organism, which are sometimes transmitted by heredity. Sometimes. Not all the time as we want to believe. Because we always want to find something external to blame instead of taking the blame to ourselves, taking the responsibility to ourselves. So any kind of excess, food, sex, gambling, talking bad about somebody else, we don't do that, right? Any kind of excess will do. We put us in an unhealthy condition, meaning that we are filling ourselves with negative energy. What are spirits? Energy, right? Good spirits, positive energy. Not so good, negative energy. When you gossip about somebody, when you have the habit of gossiping, of blaming, of cursing, what kind of energy are you sending to the world? Negative. What kind of spirits are you attracting to your side? Bingo. Bingo. And then it's just a matter of syntony. It's just a matter of equalizing your thoughts and your vibration to them. And they can talk to you through your thoughts. That will create emotions because our mind is not inside of our body. Our mind is from our spirit. Our brain is inside of our body. Our brain is a decoder comes from the mind. And the brain decodes, and what it creates? Some emotions. Emotion creates some chemical as norepinephrine, as adrenaline, as cortisol, which is pretty bad. But it can create dopamine, it can create serotonin, it can create oxytocin, which is pretty good. So it depends on us. It depends on the quality of thoughts that we feed our brain. We feed our mechanical thing. Spiritism teaches us to support our past miseries with resignation. Why? Because, again, the passage that all reads talks about suffering. And I strongly believe that pain is necessary. Think about it. You're not going to be... Do you ever talk to somebody that comes to a Spiritist center that came the first time to the Spiritist center just to say that his life was awesome? Hey, I just passed by to say my life is awesome. Thank you. Bye. We come here because we are suffering. We are feeling pain. And now, look where we are. Look what we're trying to do. We're trying to get better. So pain is the fuel to move us up in front, to take us from point A to point B. Pain is necessary in so many ways. Suffering is optional. Suffering is like, oh, why me? Why is this happening to me? Your brain is not going to get any sense, any response, good response out of that. But we keep asking that. So instead of asking that and going towards the road of healing the illness, start asking, what's there for me? What is the test that this illness is posing? Why? I was listening to Divaldo Franco, and he was talking about his heart attack, that he almost discarnated because of that. And then his mentor, Joanna de Angelis, told him, you don't forget. You have a hard time to forgive. No, I forgive everybody. No, you don't forgive everybody. No, I do. No. And he started going backwards in time to a point that something really bad happened to him. And it was every time he thought about that time, it was hard feelings. And the thing was so hard that by the time that happened, he wishes to discarnate. Because the thing that was happening to him was really bad. He wishes by that time to get out of this world. Moving forward 60 years, that was inside of himself, producing whatever substances it could produce. 60 years, took 60 years, and he had an AVC. Just because of that. And when he rewind his story, he understood why that happened. Of course, he has Joanna de Angelis, he has a lot of help, but it's something that really happened. That's something that really, we can't understand what's happening to us, but just understanding what kind of feelings we've been nurturing for a long time. And if this feeling is not good, maybe some symptoms that you have today are related to that. If God had not wished that in certain cases bodily sufferings be dissipated and soft, He would not have put the possibility of cure within our reach. So what the gospel is telling us is that, yes, sometimes we will be able to cure ourselves. But most of the time, we need something external to do that. Yesterday as well, we had somebody here that is like, it was a return from the past treatment, and the person was totally okay. But the time that we told, you don't need treatment anymore, this person froze. Because without the treatment, my symptoms will come back. No, it won't. So it's not the person power to heal, it's the treatment. It's something external. We always put the power to something or somebody else. The power is not in us to heal ourselves. Yes, it is. Because passes by itself won't do anything to you. If you go inside that room and start thinking about what you're going to do tomorrow, what happened to you early in the morning, if you're not ready to get to receive the energy of the passes, it's not going to do anything. So it's all about us. The power is in us. But we've been incarnated so much time under some rules that, trust somebody to talk to you, to talk to God in your name, like the priest or the rabbi or the pastors, whatever, that we don't believe that we have this power. The power is ours. The power to talk to God is ours. The power to heal our body is ours. It's not outside of us. You can get the best doctor with the best medicine. If you don't believe, you're not gonna get good. You're not gonna heal yourself. And we know that. And sometimes you get somebody that doesn't have one diploma in his wall, and because you trust him or her, you're good. So it's not a matter of who is treating you. It's a matter of how you receive the treatment, how you understand the treatment, how you understand the sickness, what the sickness is telling you. Barbara Brennan, she has a research energy field. She researched in the energy human field for more than 35 years. And she has a Brennan Healing Science, holistic healing modality based on human energy and consciousness. So what she said, every illness is the direct message to you telling you that you have not loved who you are and have not been treated with affection in order to be who you are. Most of the time, when you talk about what's going on, what are you feeling that kind of pain or sickness, people start talking about emotions, about feelings, and 9 out of 10 will end up in forgiveness. And then, okay, but I forgive everybody, like Divaldo, I forgive everybody. Yes, but when you talk about everybody, are you considering yourself? That's the key. We forgive everybody but ourselves. So, it's not going to work, will it? It's not going to work. The first one that we have to forgive, the first one that you have to love, the first one that we have to respect is ourselves. Then we have love to give. Then we have forgiveness to give. Then we have respect to give. If you don't make peace to yourself, there is no way to recover, fully recover. There's no way to get rid of that for good. So, take a deep dive and see if you blame yourself for something. And if that is something that is real, because sometimes we blame ourselves for something, and it happens. There is no way to revert. Move on. If you can do, if this person that you did something to still with you, try to recover. If it's not, move on. Otherwise, you're going to get stuck there. And getting stuck also creates illness. We need to understand what's happening to us. Why we don't see ourselves. If God sees us as angels, why don't we? Why don't we believe in that? We can be. We have the divine drive to go to the good. Just follow. Disease is not a cause, it's a consequence. Negative energies, consequence of negative energies circulating through our spiritual and material organisms. Normally it starts on our spiritual level because we start attracting energies and energies in the form of spirits. And then it downloads to our body. And then our brain receives the code, creates emotions, creates a reaction, and this creates some substances, some chemical reactions inside of our body. And if it happens over and over and over, boom, you're sick. Why? Because we didn't pay attention that we are the ones creating or nurturing negative thoughts in our brain. The control of energy is done through thoughts and feelings. So we have energies that cause us illness because we are mentally and emotionally undisciplined. Did I say it right? Do it better. Undisciplined. See? That's my counselor right there. Thank you all. Why? Why we don't want to take care of that? Maybe because they're just 65,000 thoughts a day, right? Kind of easy to filter and manage. Okay, we cannot take care of 65,000 thoughts a day, but we can take care of some. And we're not even doing that. And by not doing that, we are opening a door for whatever comes. So the invitation is try to understand and filter your thoughts as much as you can. Oh, this is not good for me. Change it. Replace it for a good one. It's really hard when you are in a bus. Well, not too much on the buses here in Orlando, but in a line, and somebody, my weight, step over your foot. You're not going to say, oh, thank you for doing that. You want to curse. Of course. That's natural. But just think about this feeling will come and then try to replace it. Because first, maybe the person didn't see you. And if she saw you, she's sicker than yourself. Because she did that on purpose She's trying to do something because she doesn't like anybody, even herself. So there's always a way to change. It's easy? No, it's not easy, but it's possible. This is all the realm of possibilities. You are responsible for sending the good and bad energy to other people as well. And when we send good energy to other people, guess what we get in return? Good energy. So why do we send bad energy to people? That is a saying that tells us that wishing somebody to die or to get sick is just like you drinking poison, trying to get the other person to discarnate. Every time you think something bad about somebody else, the only one that gets bad, it's you. The other person, if she accepts the invitation, she's going to get mad with you. But if she doesn't, the only one that's going to get the burden, it's yourself. The energy came out of you. It's going to come back to you. Physics. Nothing but physics. What is illness? The loss of state of harmony, or even the disturbance of an order kept in balance. The loss of harmony happens at consciousness level, and in the body it only shows its symptoms. Consciousness is in our mind, which is related to our soul, to our spirit. But once that downloads to our body, it will show the symptoms. What are the symptoms? Illness. If it's not a good energy, if it's not a good thought, it will end up as some kind of sickness. The body is the vehicle of manifestation, realization of all processes and changes that take place in consciousness. Consciousness emits the information that manifests and becomes visible in the body. Consciousness is to the body as a radio program is to the receiver. That's an easy way to understand, right? A radio program is the content. The receiver is just the one that will replicate that to the world. So consciousness is the one that sends all the information, all the good or bad things to the body, which is the receiver. The body will replicate that in a way that we understand. Can we change that? Yes. We have to take a look all the time, be aware of our thoughts, because they come and go so easily. So what is a good way to slow down our thoughts during the day? Every end of the month, we have it here. Good hint, right? Meditation. Oh, Peter, I cannot do meditation. I don't have time to do that. Really? There's some apps that is a 10-minute meditation, 5-minute meditation, 2-minute meditation. You don't have 2 minutes? You don't have 5 minutes? What is the good thing about meditation? You're going to stop the flow of your thoughts. If you're not willing, if you're not able to control the flow, to stop the flow, meditation will do that for you. In a snap. In a snap. What do you have to understand? You have to know that you have this kind of tools for yourself. And you have to use it. Who here wants to win the lotto? Raise your hand. And who here plays lotto? Less than a half. So that tells us a lot about human nature. We want to win, but we don't want to do anything, just wishing. So here's my takeout for you. Vision without action equals hallucination. We can have the vision. We are so good at having visions. But if you don't act for that to happen, it's not going to happen. Period. It's not going to work. Since consciousness represents immaterial and proper quality, it is not a product of the body, not will it depend on the existence, its existence. So consciousness belongs to us, spirit. We are not this. This is just a vessel. What animates this vessel, it's us, the spirit. And consciousness belongs to the spirit, not to the body. Just as the physical body can ingest poisonous food and intoxicate its tissues, the spiritual organism absorbs elements that degrade it, which reflects on material cells. This is André Luiz on the means of mediumship. So that's, again, the spiritual doctrine telling us, understand the power of your thoughts. Understand the power that you have in your hands to stay healthy or get sick. It depends most of the time on us. It's hard to hear that. It's hard for me to say that because my brain's saying, yeah, don't do anything like this. Yeah, I don't, but I try. And that's what we can do. We can try. Spirit's vision of illness and health. Health is the functioning, the interaction with stability of this triad, of which every human being incarnated is composed: spirit, perispirit, and matter. Let's put it on the IT side. Computer, browser, information data center, database, browser, or modem, right? Not browser. Data center, modem, and computer. Computer is the body. Modem is the perispirit. Database, it's ourselves, the spirit. We have all the knowledge. We have all the information. But then we have to send through a modem to be decoded by the computer. And the computer has limitations. And that's why we don't understand fully what happens to our spirit and who we are as a spirit. And there's a reason for that too, but that doesn't belong to this talk. Maybe y'all can explain that. Don't laugh, all. Illness is all dysfunction, maladjustment, disharmony, which alters the harmonious functioning of the triad that makes up the human being incarnated, which is spirit, perispirit, and matter. So anything that will mess with that harmony, it's illness. Think about how many times. This is something about the mechanics of the body. If you go out and it's sunny, especially here in Orlando, and you don't have a sunglass and you start frowning, all of a sudden after like 5-10 minutes, you start getting like in a bad mood. And you relate that because the sun is bothering you and you don't like that. No, it's just because your muscles of your face is telling your brain that you're doing a pose that is related to crankiness. How do you relieve that? There's not a pen here. Yeah. Like this. This open mouth is telling, the muscles are telling to my brain that I'm happy. And after a while, your brain's going to replicate happiness. This is the mechanical side. This is the computer side. We master that. We are very good on that. The problem is, the other part that we cannot touch is the hardest one. We have to be aware and resignificant. Whatever comes, don't let that to take over us. And this is really hard. The computer, any IT tech can do it, aka doctors. The spirit is kind of hard. And that's why for some people, the Spiritist doctrine is so hard to understand. It's because it depends on us, not anybody else. It doesn't depend on lectures. It doesn't depend on passes. It doesn't depend on anything. It depends on us. Are you willing to change or not? If you're not willing to change, guess what? You're not going to change. If you're willing to change, you have to decide where to go. There's multiple options. Spirit's vision of illness, again, traditional medicine downgrades disease to genetic, quality of life, and various pathological agents like virus, fungi, bacteria, ruling out the possibility of a cause beyond dense matter or the ills of any species. So far, traditional medicine is all about what you can see, what you can touch, what you can prove. Psychosomatic medicine, it is admitted that the mind can produce certain diseases by the persistence of conflicting emotional states. So there are some diseases that have been called psychosomatic. And then, Spiritism teaches us that the imbalance between the various bodies of man, spirit per spirit, body, whether caused by inappropriate behaviors of this present or past life, can cause disease of various types, whether physical, emotional, or mental. So, like a friend of ours say, that's where the cookie crumbles. It's not easy at all. But understand that it depends of our moodness. It depends of how we react to perception, how we react to things that comes to us in a daily basis. Will dictate our day, will dictate our harmony, will dictate our balance. And because of that, you are more prone or not to get sick. Your reaction will tell you if you are going to get sick easily or not. Sometimes we can't predict, can we? Like I had a flu on Monday, and I was pretty sure that it would be bad. Bingo, of course, I helped that to be bad. Because if I tried to fight, maybe it would be like in and out. But yeah, it took me like a storm. By Friday, I was like recovering. We have that all the time, not just with a simple flu. And then we blame karma. If nothing happens, nothing works, if it's not related to somebody else, it's related to our karma. But this is a mistaken notion. Illness is a mechanism for collecting the errors of the past, especially when congenital, chronic, and those that quickly lead to discarnation, seen as a way to pay off our debts. So I'm sick because I chose to be sick when I was about to reincarnate. I said, when I'm 55, by November the 20th, I'm going to get a flu. Really? That's too much. But then I choose to have my hands like this. Maybe because I probably gave the middle finger too much in the past incarnation. So in this one, they didn't allow me to do it anymore. That I chose. This is my choice. But not to choose when to get sick, when to get better, this is not a way. So don't blame karma. Karma is just a law of cause and effect. What's creating your sickness, it's your unbalanced emotion, your unbalanced thoughts. Not something that you chose long time ago before you incarnated and stuff. No, that doesn't work like this. In the Spiritist book, question 132, Kardec asks, what is the purpose of incarnation would be? What you guys think? What is the purpose of incarnation? Progress. The law of God imposed the incarnation with the aim of bringing them to perfection. So, is that saying something about bringing them to sickness? Bringing them to illness? Bringing them to suffer? Bringing them to feel pain? No, right? The word discharge of debt, suffering, fate, pain, illness, or other terms were never used as fatality. We We get to better evolutionary states through the choices we make of our lifetimes. We get it right and wrong. And even when the existential burden of disease arises, it is a consequence of our options. It is a consequence of our options. It's not Peter. It's not this Spiritist Center. It's the Spiritist book. Talking to Kardec. Even when the existential burden of disease arises, it is a consequence of our options. Meaning that we do have options. We have options of not having that as well. Is that a conscious option? Of course not. Otherwise, everybody will master that. But it is an option. And we have to be aware and we have to pay attention. There is no other fatality than that which results from the determination of each spirit on incarnating himself to undergo such and such trials. By choosing those trials, he makes for himself a sort of destiny which is the natural consequence of the situation in which he has chosen to place himself. This is what we incarnate with. We can sometimes choose the family that we're born in, our brothers, sisters, and so on, and mother and father. So maybe at this time we have to rethink. So many times we tell to our mother and father, I didn't ask you born here. Yes, you did. If you're lucky, you did. If you're not lucky, somebody chose for you. And this is the best because you didn't even have the conscience to choose the better choice. And that's the reason that most of the time our family is our main challenge. Because we choose our family to test ourselves, to get better ourselves. And then we go to the society and try to mingle and try to help somebody else. How many times you say, oh, you should be my brother because my brother doesn't understand me. I love you like a brother. That's just you saying that you don't understand your brother. Why? Because maybe he's this affection from the past. And your choice was to be born with him, to try to love him. And if you're not doing that, probably, if it's not in this incarnation, you're going to have some others. And people say, oh my God, no, please don't tell me that. No, that's not me telling you that. It's just a fact. It's just the way it is. It's just the way it happens. Okay, so why mom and dad pay attention to the troublemaker and don't pay attention to me that I'm so right, so they'll do everything right? Because the troublemaker is the one that needs attention. You're doing everything right, so you don't need that much attention. He does, or she does. Because that's my test. That's my trial to help that spirit. Isn't it easier to understand troublemakers this way? It's somebody that needs help. And if it's on your side and if it's in your life, maybe you choose to be around them just to learn. But it can choose not to learn and get out of home and stay all day, all night outside, not to see this person. It's your choice. That's free will. But you're not understanding and you're not learning anything. So, overcoming illness. What should we do? Open your mind to the new. Because open minds allow you to create, grow, and find new pathways in your life. And it's hard for us to like the new because we're so used to where we are, to our comfort zone. Everything that will menace our comfort zone will be seen as a danger. And we don't like danger, do we? We don't like things that takes us from, our nice position and put us, and that's why pain comes. To take us from point A to point B. Dr. Deepak Chopra has a saying, a pretty good saying that tells, if you want to know why things are happening to you today, look at what you did in the past. If you want to know where you're going to be tomorrow, look what you're doing right now. And then he completes. Open your heart, or a heart surgeon is going to do that for you. In other words, he's telling you, keep collecting anger, keep collecting rage, keep collecting enviness, keep collecting whatever bad feelings to a point that you got that's so much inside of you that will create a disease, and then you're going to need a surgeon to help you because you're not helping yourself. So again, open your heart. Open yourself to the new. Who knows each other lives better at any age and any situation. So try to know yourself. Remember the philosophical statement, man, know thyself. They put that to Socrates. It's way before Socrates. It was in the Delphos pyramid, oracle, and probably way before that in some other ancient cultures. Know yourself. What is know yourself? Love yourself. Understand yourself. Forgive yourself. Keep on going. Overcome the bad habit of living the past anxious about the future. The present time is all a man has in concrete. Think about the word present as a gift. Now. If you're here listening to this talk and thinking about what you're going to do when you live here, you're not here. Just your body is here. Your mind is somewhere else. So why are you here? It could be somewhere else. It's a choice. Don't fool yourself. Be true to yourself. Do not blame others for your failures, defeats, problems. Take charge of your life. Forgive all and forgive yourself. So important. I tell you, 11 years doing fraternal counseling, the word that repeats over and over and over is forgiveness. And normally it's forgiveness of ourselves. Because we're very good in forgiving people, but we don't forgive ourselves. We're really harsh as a judge when we point the finger to our nose. Strengthen our family ties, friendship, avoid the constant isolation, unhealthy, because living together is essential for the health of the body and the spirit. If you start living separated from the world, you're going to create a great disease of this century and past century, which is called depression. If you're not communicating with anybody, if you don't feel anything, your body, your brain is going to understand that he doesn't need it. He doesn't need to produce any substance, any chemical, any reaction, any synapses from your neurons. And all of a sudden, you stop producing that. And then you're going to start taking medicine to produce something that you should produce normally, naturally. But you stop because you chose to refrain from people. I did a talk about laziness, and I put Garfield, the cat, and everybody laughed because Garfield's such a cool character. Yeah, and that's how depression starts, because if you're lazy and people talk about your laziness and you don't want to hear, you're going to push people away, and all of a sudden, a lot of people that used to come and talk to you don't want to talk to you again because you keep pushing them away. And all of a sudden, you see that you're just by yourself more and more and more. And all of a sudden, it's just you in your room and the internet. And then the internet starts getting boring. And then you are just developing depression from laziness. So easy. It's just like this. And that's how we need to control what comes to our mind. Make meditation or prayer depend on the choice of form of daily connection with the higher energies. Because in meditation and prayer, we achieve high and beneficial states of consciousness. Eat properly, using the principle advocated by the father of medicine, Hippocrates. Hippocrates, right? Hippocrates. Hippocrates, sorry. Hippocrates is something totally different. Sorry, guys. Hippocrates, which stated, make your food your medicine. I just read today that in Brazil, there is a doctor that he is given food. He's harvesting food, and he's given, instead of medicine, he's given right food to the patients. So there's no more medicine. It's just right food. Just tied to this one. We're there. Everything is on our hands. We're not in the primeval ages that we need to do everything, or there's no technology around for us to use. We're there. Get out of a cocoon. Look around and see. There's a lot to be done in the planet. Be useful. Dedicate to a humanitarian cause, to your fellow neighbor. This increases well-being and gives us immense inner satisfaction. Oh, Peter, but I don't know where to start. Look around. We are in the spiritual center. We need a lot of help. Don't know where to start? Start here. We need a lot of help. We are willing to have workers all the time. If you want to help, start here and then keep on doing. Make a habit of always keeping up positive expectations, because positive expectations then generate positive energy that attract positive things, that attract positive energy, which is higher spirits. And if you don't want to have higher spirits among you, I'm sorry, I do. All the time, every day. Finally, remember that we always receive protection in any situation. First from the Creator, from our embodied relatives and friends, and of course, from our spiritual benefactors and friends. Help will always come on time and place. Be always hopeful. Knock and the door will open. High spirits are very polite. If you don't call them, they will not gonna come. So, again, action, not just a vision. Act and they will come and they will help. And just to finish this one, this video that I'm going to show, I showed before, but I think this tie up pretty good with this talk. So let's play it. If I can. Okay.
Legend has it, Harry Houdini, the master magician, once claimed that he could break out of any jail cell in the world. All he had to do was walk into that jail cell with his street clothes on. "I'll be out of there in 1 hour, no problem," he said. Well, a very old jail down south heard about Houdini's claims, and they accepted his challenge. On the day of the event, many people gathered outside. Very confidently, Houdini walked right into the jail and into the cell, and they shut the metal doors behind him. The first thing Houdini did was he took off his coat. Then, very strangely, he took off his belt. Secretly hidden in Houdini's belt was a 10-inch piece of steel, very tough and very flexible, and Houdini started working. In about 30 minutes, that confident expression Houdini had when he walked in disappeared. In 1 hour, he was bathed in sweat, and at the end of 2 hours, Houdini, in defeat, collapsed against the door, which then opened. It opened because, you see, that door had never been locked. But that's not entirely true, is it? That door was locked. It was firmly and thoroughly locked in Houdini's mind, which meant it was locked as if the best locksmith in the world had put his lock on it. powerful. How many doors in your life do you think are locked but aren't? How many times have you been stuck in the mental prison of overthinking something that really had a simple solution? There is an ancient African proverb that says, when there is no enemy within, the enemy outside can do us no harm. Your mind is the most powerful force you will ever face. It will tell you lies. It will tell you you can't do that. You're not meant for that. You're not good enough for that. You can't go on anymore. You don't have the energy. You must thank it for its opinion and carry on. Because like Houdini showed us, the only locked doors that exist are in your own mind. The doors in reality are open. And all you have to do is walk through.
So the question in the end is like, how many doors we've been locking without needing to be locked? How many doors we've been thinking they are shut when they are open? And why are we doing this? Why are we causing that to us? Why don't we believe in ourselves? Why don't we love ourselves enough to understand that the doors are open? And we have all the possibilities that we can. Thank you, my friends.